From the UFC world, Ilia Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out based on the first punch.
That dude drunk, you know. Hey, you know, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
If there's one person that proves that fight IQ does not translate to life IQ, it's Ilia Topuria, because as talented as he is when it comes to MMA, he's equally as clueless when it comes to not being cringe and not embarrassing himself in the aforementioned sport that he excels in. And before I get into the core of this video, I want to reiterate that Ilia Topuria is a special fighter. His 3 most recent forays into the octagon, where he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira, are some of the most impressive performances in the history of MMA. And I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he's recognized as the undisputed GOAT by the time he decides to leave the sport and holds several records that won't be broken for years to come. Simply put, when it comes to fighting, Ilia is him, but the unfortunate side effect of being autistically good at his job seems to be actual autism, because if it wasn't for him delivering when it matters, he would just be a meme. The man can't help but be utterly lame when it comes to anything outside of the octagon, and there are countless examples. His press conference with Alexander Volkanovski, which might as well have been held on Halloween, because while Volkanovski dressed up as an old man in order to poke fun at the narrative that he was too old to win, Ilia basically wore a Conor McGregor costume, dressing, talking, walking, and even repeating Conor's previous actions, just in a way more try-hard, look at me, I'm cool just like that other guy you're all fans of way. Then there was the attempt to appear like a deep scholar on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he told Joe that he was quite the bookworm, probably in an attempt to mimic Conor McGregor's early career obsession with The Secret, but I guess he didn't expect Joe to follow up with a question about what kind of books he likes to read, because...
I read more like... I read a lot of books. I love reading books of self-development books. Also, how can I tell you? And yeah, this is the most of the books I read.
As a guy that genuinely enjoys sitting down with a good book once in a while, I can confidently tell you that Ilia Topuria does not read books. The telltale sign of that is the fact that he only seems to view books as a tool for self-improvement and uses reading as a flex for how much he works on his mind. And nobody that actually reads views the act of reading in that way. To them, it's a form of entertainment in the same exact way that movies, TV shows, and video games are. The way Ilia talks about it reminds me of the way that Joe Rogan talks about stand-up comedy like it's some art form that only a select few can participate in, and incidentally, both kind of suck at both. Which is fine, I'm not going to condemn Ilia for being fake deep. All of us have done something similar at different points in our lives, but I do want to use it as a pretext for what comes next to demonstrate the fact that the man is a bit insecure. He does weird things, like changing his nickname from El Matador to The Legend and then quickly changing it back when nobody will call him that. There's an internal fragility there that makes him work extremely hard in the gym, thereby making him a great fighter, but also makes him desperate for validation, often leading to some less than desirable results. And this past month has been particularly embarrassing. As a fan of both MMA and boxing, I have to say that Ilia made himself look like a complete groupie with Terrence Crawford in the lead up to his fight with Canelo Alvarez, and it all began with this interview.
Who do you watch in the UFC that you think has the best boxing?
My guy, what's his name?
You seen Topuria's? Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah, he the best UFC boxer.
Have you seen Topuria?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands. We talking about straight boxing.
Straight boxing?
Yeah, we ain't talking about nothing else. We talking about straight boxing skills. I just think Cody got the best boxing skills.
Now, personally, I don't agree that Cody Garbrandt is a better boxer than Ilia Topuria. He's flashy and looks the part when you watch his highlights, but his actual skills are very surface level. He has good head movement, can put together a combination or set up a big shot against an overmatched opponent, but once he's taken out of his comfort zone and forced to think on the fly, he quickly falls apart and resorts to mindless brawling, which has gotten him knocked out on multiple occasions, whereas Ilia Topuria always thinks multiple steps ahead, fighting patiently intentionally feinting, setting traps, and planting seeds from the first second of the first round, usually resulting in a finish that feels both impressive and inevitable. Much like a professional boxer who spends the first couple of rounds gauging distance and looking for patterns before turning the heat up once he gets in his groove. But I wouldn't expect Terence Crawford to know that, because I think it's fairly obvious that he's just trying to be nice when he says that he watches a lot of MMA. And the reason why he's showing love to Cody Garbrandt specifically is because Cody is known for sucking up to boxers. I distinctly remember the story of him reaching out to Gervonta Tank Davis on Twitter in order to tell him how awesome he was and that the two should support one another, and I have no doubt in my mind that his relationship with Terence Crawford started in a similar way. But there was absolutely no reason for Ilia to respond to that statement, because while he was obviously clueless and trying to hype up his friend, Crawford was not disrespectful or critical of Topuria in any way, shape, or form. But to the surprise of absolutely no one, Ilia issued a response, posting a picture of him and Terence Crawford outside of the UFC PI, captioned with "Who would win in a fight?" and followed up with a post claiming that he would put him to sleep in the first round inside of a boxing ring. Terence Crawford is currently the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world, so pointing out the ridiculousness of Ilia's claim is redundant. So let me just tell you why it's cringe instead. This was yet another obvious attempt to copy Conor McGregor by calling out a boxer for a crossover fight, except in this case there was absolutely no chance that it will work, because unlike Conor, Ilia is not a crossover superstar, regardless of how many followers he buys on Instagram. And for that matter, Terence Crawford isn't anywhere near as popular as Floyd Mayweather either, so the demand for this fight is simply not there. In fact, the only person I have ever heard say anything about it is Ilia Topuria, and in doing so, he not only made a fool of himself, but devalued the sport of MMA as a whole. Because if this hypothetical fight were to happen, he would not only lose in devastating fashion in front of millions of people in foreign territory while getting paid a fraction of the money that Crawford would, but also get laughed at by every boxing analyst, personality, and fan under the sun, making it look like MMA is so second-rate that somebody is willing to trade becoming the potential face of it to be a clown show in boxing. I don't agree with Dana White on many things, but I do hold the same exact opinion as he does when it comes to this.
Boxers get murdered in MMA.
Yeah.
And MMA fighters get murdered in boxing. It's just, they're two completely different sports.
I understand that there is a major issue with money in the UFC, but as a fan, watching MMA fighters constantly acting like stage 5 clingers and harassing boxers who don't even know who they are is simply pathetic. It reeks of not having any dignity or pride in their own sport. So Terence Crawford didn't have to get physical in order to make Topuria look stupid. He just trolled him and laid out the objective facts.
As you see, I had the guitar and everything, and my great childhood friend, Rosendo Robles, he was the one that, carried the song out and performed the night. And, it was a wonderful night. Like I said, I got Mexicans and Latinos on my side as well. So, it was a beautiful night tonight.
Did you know Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC?
You said what?
Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC.
Did he? Oh, good. Good for him.
What money would I get out of fighting him? Tell me how much I'm going to get out of fighting him.
Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real. Stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was here. He's here. Like I said, I don't know this guy. I never seen this guy fight. And I watch a lot of MMA, you know what I mean? Maybe, I'm slipping. Maybe he's a good fighter, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I honestly never seen this guy fight, for sure. I've seen Conor McGregor fight a lot of times. It's night and day. It's night and day. Don't ever try to say they on the same level. What are we talking about? We're not talking about that. Tell that guy to, keep up the good work in his career. I wish him the best.
Conor McGregor and Ilia Topuria have an interesting dynamic. The consensus among MMA fans is that Ilia has surpassed Conor as a fighter long ago, but he still seems to perpetually put himself in the little brother role by mindlessly copying everything that Conor does and making himself look like a big lame ass in the process. I've never seen somebody with an undefeated record accrue so many L's outside of the octagon. He's so prolific at it that even the Nelk boys secured a rare W at his expense when they accidentally foreshadowed his separation from his wife.
I met my wife in Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn.
Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami? You give me hope now, because everyone says you can't meet your wife in Miami.
You can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
All right, let's roll.
Put it on Only in Date. It's hilarious.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that. Like you just can't.
Because it's just party.
Because party. Yeah.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You surround yourself with the people that goes to the party all the time, and they all the time think about the party.
Yeah.
But you don't know the another part of Miami of the people that just they want.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's a best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run in the water.
Look, obviously I'm being facetious. There's nothing funny about a family breaking up. Things happen, people change, and sometimes being apart makes a lot more sense than being together. But there are some rumors circulating online that the split was caused by infidelity on Ilia's part. And I don't know if they're true, but if they are, this has to be the ultimate L in his perpetual quest to be like Conor McGregor, because Conor's fiance doesn't even flinch at anything less than the weighted dick pic. Cheating doesn't even register on her radar. That's just a regular day that ends in a Y. In any case, this is a really poetic way to end an already embarrassing month, and I see a lot of people online joking that heartbreak will unlock a new level of savage within Ilia and feeling sorry for his next opponent, and I really hope that's true, because I would hate for it to have the opposite effect like it did with Teofimo Lopez, who ended up losing a 0 to George Kambosos Jr. after his wife left him. That would really, really suck, because without Ilia, there isn't much to look forward to in the UFC these days, and that's the really embarrassing thing here. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support this channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.
Ilia Topuria. I grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap the little nose off him, yeah? Little ding-dong of a thing he is, yeah? I'm fucking Spanish. I'm in Marbella, bro, yeah? I'm in Marbella at the bare knuckle stall, and let's see what's what. We're bouncing the yoke, have a bare knuckle. You little fool, I'll cave your head in. You little short-ass thick, I'll box your jaw in. On sight. I'm in Marbella, Spain, yeah? I'm in Marbella, Spain, October 12th at the bare knuckle. Stall it, bro, yeah? See what happens here. See what happens here when you cross me, bro.